السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
صوتي واضح? My voice is
أيوة.
clear for everyone? Okay, we'll just wait for one more minute for the others so they can join. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, Mr.
Okay. Anybody whom you know and he is still or she is still not here? تعرفوا حد ما داخل للحين؟ Okay. So, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are going to start learning how to model the different types of elements in Revit and how to transfer them to robot structural analysis. And then I'll give you a hint on how would you transfer your AutoCAD plans in the easiest possible way. Okay. So I'm going to highlight. You can try with me. Okay. Okay. Although I would rather ask you to wait for the video and then you can do a step by step. Okay, but if you want to try, that can be done. Okay, so first thing that we are going to go to Revit 2022, which you have already installed. Okay, we will go for new. Now from new, we are going to have different type of templates. You have imperial اللي هي الوحدات الأمريكية اللي هن الفيت والإنش وغيره. وعندنا المترك. In metric, we have three templates. One is construction, another one is architectural, third one is structure. So we are going to go for metric structural. نحن نستخدم اللي هي الوحدات المترية and then structural template. So I'm clicking on OK. Okay. الحين في عندنا هذا التوب. We have a top ribbon here. You have architecture and you have structure. Now mainly architecture is going to be used by architects. and any element which is available here, okay, except for the grid, any element which is available here, it cannot be transferred to a structural software. Any architectural element cannot be transferred to a structural software. Okay. Why? Each structural software is normally having a starting point and end point, and that thing we call it as an analytical model. Okay, that's called as analytical model. So all of these elements are not having analytical model, so they cannot be read by the structural software. So now for you, if you want your structural software to read your plans or to read your model, then you need to use everything here, which is instruction. And what you can see that there are 4 different shapes. Now, if we try to zoom in, we will see west, and then we'll have north, and then we have east, and then we have south. These are representing 4 cameras in which you are trying to capture the sides from from your own model. So whatever model you will do, you can have the north view, you can have the west view, south view, and then the east view. Okay, which are the 4 sides, and this is what we used to call as an elevation. Okay, so هذه الكاميرات مرة ثانية are the things which are capturing your elevation. So if, for example, my camera is inside the model, it will not show you everything in the model. يعني مثلا, for example, if I draw my beam here, somewhere here, then this beam cannot be shown by this camera, because the camera is orienting to this side. Okay, so you need to keep your model in between the 4 cameras so everything will appear. Okay. Now the first thing which you need to know here is whatever we call the project browser. This is very important thing for you. Revit is a very huge word itself. Normally people are training Revit, especially architecture, in a lot of months, not only days. But I'm going to try to concentrate on parts which are very important for your project and for your structural part. Okay, in which whatever you can see here, we have level 1 and level 2. So there are 2 levels. معنى كأنه عندي طابقين, like I have 2 floors. Okay, level 1 and level 2. And then here we have the elevation. These are the cameras which we have said about. We have east, north, south, and west. So the first thing that we are going to go for is one of the elevations. So for example, I'm going to click on east. Now, if you go and click on the east, you will see that you are having 2 levels. The same thing, if you go to the north, you will see 2 levels. If you are going to the south, whatever side you are looking from, you will see that there are 2 levels, level 1 and level 2. Okay. Now, normally for us, we have a ground floor level, we have a first floor level, and we have a foundation level. So for example, you can see that here it says for you, level number 1, which is your ground normally, is available at 0 level. In reality, we have something below the ground level. In architecture, normally they don't show the foundation. Okay, if you have seen most of the architectural designs, they don't show anything below the ground. So they always start from level number 1 or the ground. For us, we need to show the parts which are below the ground as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename. I'll just double click on level number 1. I'll just rename it, for example, to be foundations or foundation. Okay. It will ask me, are you okay with the renaming? I'll just say yes. Okay, so now its name is foundation, and you can see here it has been changed directly to be foundation. Okay. Now, normally the foundation is going to be below the ground. Okay, and it varies, and according to Muscat municipality, it should be in the range of from 1.5 and above till it reaches to 2 meters. Okay, so for example, in this example, I'm going to say that this is going to be minus 1,800, means it's 1.8 meter below the ground. Okay, now you will see that whenever I'm just going to press enter, you'll see this will shift automatically. And whatever I do, if you see here, if I return back, okay, you will see the distance between these two lines or these two levels are 3,000, which are 3 meters. Okay, which is 3 meter or 3,000 minus 0. If once again I change here, so to be 1.8 meter or minus 1,800, you will see this will shift automatically. Now the difference between CAD and Revit is very smart that it will do the changes automatically. You don't need to change like in CAD. Okay, so now you can see that this is 4,800, which are 3,000 minus 1,800, which is a distance of 4,800. Now I want to rename this one. I'll just rename it. I'll just call it as GF, which is ground floor. Okay, and if you don't want to show this one, okay, you can click on the what we call it, the highlight here. So I want my ground floor to be at 0 level. Okay, so now I have my foundation, I have my ground floor, and then for example, I need to have one extra floor, for example. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on one of the levels. So for example, ground floor. Okay, and then I'm going to go for copy here or CO, as you see. So either you click on copy or you click on either click here or just typing CO. Okay, so I'm just going to click here. You can either take it to the upper side or you can take it to the lower side. Are we fine? Are we okay till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you can see whenever you move up or down, you will see that the value is changing. Okay, you will see that the value, okay, you will see that the value is changing. Okay, now for example, I want my floor to be 3.5 meter from the ground floor. So I'll just type, I don't need to go and move till 3.5 and search for it. No, you can just directly type 3,500 and then just click enter. It will give you directly that the distance between your ground floor and your upper level, 3.5 meters. Okay, so depending on your project, you are going to set how many levels are there. So for example, here I have foundation, ground floor, and then I'm going to have, for example, my first floor. Okay, now one thing you should notice here, foundation and ground floor are represented by blue color. Can you see the blue color here? And then the first floor, which I have added recently, is shown in black. What does it mean? It means now the active layers are only foundation and ground floor. Whatever you can see here in the plan are foundation and ground floor. You cannot see the first floor. Okay, it means it's not activated yet. Now to activate it, we need to go to view. Anything related to whatever you need to see, we are going to go to view. Now, which thing is not activated? We said in the structural plan, two things or two layers are shown only, ground floor and foundation. So I need to go for the structural plan, which is a plan eventually. So I'm going to go for a plan view. From the plan view, I'm going to go for a structural plan. And you will see that one of the plans is not active yet. Okay, so I'm just going to click on it and you will see that it will appear here. And then it will turn to be a blue color, means it's active already. Okay, now you can see we have foundation, we have ground, and we have first floor. And the same thing, if I go and see here, now you'll see that all of the three are active.
Mister,
Are we-
could you repeat
Which
how to get the foundation? اللي هو
foundation?
minus 1,800.
Yeah, you can highlight any of the, once again, you can highlight any of the layers. Like for example, I'm highlighting ground floor. You can go for copy. Okay, if there is no foundation, for example, in your case, just 1 second. Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Mr.
Okay. So once again, if the foundation is not available and you want to set the foundation, you can just copy any of the layers. Okay. Like for example, I can go and copy this one if I want to have another layer here. And then you can place any value. Okay. So for example, I can place now already I have set that it goes down. So no need to put the negative sign. So for example, 3000. Okay, it will show me another one which is having 3000 from the foundation layer, from whatever layer I have copied from. واضحة؟
Yes, Mr.
Okay, so I just control and Z, so that will be deleted. Okay, now anything about the layer؟ هل واضح كيف تعملوا اللي هي الطوابق مالكم؟ Is it clear about making the layer? Are we clear? Okay.
Mr.
Hmm? What?
Sir, can you repeat the naming in the structural plan? How did you add FF?
I mean, you want to change the name or you want to activate the plan?
You I think pressed on the plan views, then you added it to the
No,
to
there
the
are
structure.
there are two things. Do you want to rename? If you want to rename, you just click on the FF and change whatever name you want.
No, the other one, sir.
Okay, so if you want to activate it and it's not active, like for example, okay, like for example, if I want to add another floor here, I'm just going to highlight once again. I'm going to click on the layer, go for copy or CO. I'm just going to type CO. Now either you go and take it up or go and take it down. So I'm going to take it up. For example, 3,500 once again. So 3,500 and 3,500 is going to be 7,000. Okay, you will see that this is not active. Now, what does it mean or how we are going to activate it? You need to understand what is FF, what is GF, and what's foundation. Foundation, GF, and FF, these are structural plans. Okay, these are structural plans. Ma'ana, GG is another structural plan. Okay, for example, I want to call it as second floor. Okay. So now when I'm going to activate anything, if I want to show anything, I'll go for view. From the view, there is a 3D view, there is a section, there is a call out, there is a plan view. Now for us, SF is a plan. Okay, it's a plan view. So I'm going to go for a plan. Is it a floor plan, reflective ceiling, or it's a structural plan which you are dealing with? So it's a structural plan, and you will see that one of them is only not activated. كلهن باللون الأزرق, which are active, except SF, which is not active. So you just click on it, and then you will see that SF is coming here now. Are we clear?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, الحين I have foundation level, and then I have ground, first floor, and the second floor. You can keep adding floor as many as you require in your project. Okay, I don't want to complicate it since it's the first session. I want to play slow and then play small so you can learn everything. Now let us go to the ground. Okay, I'm going to go to the ground level. Now we are going to go for the structure. So once again, I'm in the ground floor now. I'm going to go in the structure. We have different elements. We have beam. Okay, in the beam, you have, for example, here, universal beam, concrete beam. Okay, different types of beams are there. Okay. Now for you, and different sections are there. For you, you don't worry about the sections now. you just model it and change the section later in the robot, since it's much easier for you to change over there. Okay, so you just need to model it here, shift it to robot, and later on change the section sizing on robot, and I'll show you later on how. Okay, so it does not matter what type of element you are having. So now, for example, we are going to go once again on talking about the different elements, and we have wall. There is a structural wall and there is architecture. So you need to go for structural wall. There is a column, different types of columns, once again, concrete and steel. And you have different types of floors as well, structural. So we're going to go for structure. You have truss, bracing system. Beam system is normally for Revit, although that it's not going to give you something useful for your project at least. Okay. Connection is for steel. Isolated foundation is for single column. Wall foundation. Slab means a raft foundation. And these are for what you call detailing purposes. So we are not going to do the detailing. The robot software is going to design for us, and then it's going to return it back up for us. The detailing is going to be ready. We are not going to do the detailing here. Okay. So the most important thing which you should know here is the grid line. Okay. So now we are going to play with the grid line. Now you will see that there are different types of grid lines. There is a straight line. There is a curve. Okay. And there is center with the radius. This is another curve. There are two curves. One you can do by start, end, and radius. Another one you can do by start, end, with what you call a center. Okay. And then you have a pick line. We are going to see the pick line later. And then you have multi-segment. We are going to see most of these now. Okay. So for example, I want to go and draw a grid line. أغلبكم you have used CAD and you had to draw the grid lines, the AA, BB, 1, 1, 2, 2, you had to draw them separately. Okay, so what we are going to do, for example, I'm going to draw a line here. Okay, so this is the vertical line. You will see that the naming has been given directly to the one. Okay, and لما أروح فوق, when I go up, there is a small box here in which I can highlight. Okay, I can highlight. So another bubble will come here. So it's 1, 1 now. So we have a grid which is 1, 1. Okay, normally the grid is going to be the center of your wall. Okay, you are going to place a grid at each center of your wall. So assuming that this is, for example, my first center of a wall, and I have another wall at 5 meters. So for example, I have the center of the wall or the beam, and then after 5 meters, there is another wall. Okay, so what I need to do, we can go for copy. And from copy here, we have multiple. Multiple means you can go more than one. And then constraint means it's going to lock it. You are not going to have it in different directions. Okay, you are going to have it vertical only. Okay. So we are going to have here now. So for example, the first one is at 5 meters. I'm just going to write 5 meters and then enter. You will see that the naming has become 2 and 2 directly. You don't need to do it. For example, the third one is 8 meters. So I'm just going to type 8 meters. The third one is, for example, 2,350. So it's 2,350. And it goes on. Okay. So you keep putting the grid lines according to how many walls you have in your structure. Are we clear about that? Are we okay?
Yes,
Yes.
Mr. Clear.
Okay. So once again, the software is not something which is hard. It is automated. It's very easy to be used, and you can see that the numbering came automated. Okay. Now, after we finish from the horizontal, we can go for the vertical. I mean, finish from the vertical, we can go for the horizontal. So once again, I'm going to go for the grid line. Now I'm going to draw a grid line which is horizontal. Okay. Now you will see that Revit has named this one to be 9. Since the last grid is 8, Revit has called this one to be 9. Now I don't want the other direction grids to be called numbering as well. I'm going to change it to A, for example. Okay, so this is A. Once again, I'm going to go for the other bubble. Just click here, so it's A. So we have A and A now. Okay. Now, for example, you see that this camera is entering a little bit inside, so you can highlight it and then shift it somewhere far. The same thing here. I'm using the mouse. I'm using the keyboard. I have highlighted the camera and then I just slightly push them away from my model. Are we okay? Are we fine?
Yes.
Okay. So we can go here. We can go here, for example. The same thing. We are going to go for copy, multiple and constraint. Okay. So now you can see when you do the constraint, you cannot go and have it, for example, vertical. It is already locked according to whatever you copy. Okay, whatever angle you copy, it's going to be the same. So for example, 7,500. So that's the first wall in the horizontal direction, the center of the first wall. And then I have, for example, another wall at 7,500. And then I have, for example, another wall at 2,200. And it goes on. So you can keep putting the grids according to whatever wall you have in your own project. It varies from one project to another project. That's why I wanted to do something which is common first, and then you can try it out in your project. Okay. So for example, 8,000. Okay. Now let me have another one. Let's say 6,000. Some of the projects, they might be having something like curves, like a curved element. Okay. So for curved elements, you can go for grid. And then, for example, you can go for start and radius. So I'm just going to highlight the start point, the end point, and then I can go and push my grid. Okay. Are you okay with that? Are we fine? Once again, grid. I'm going to choose start, end, and the radius. So I have highlighted the first point, the second point, and then I have highlighted the radius that I want. Are we fine?
Yes, Mr.
Okay. And then you have, for example, some of the, I think one of the projects is having atypical shape, which is not regular. Okay, so you can use at that time, you can use multi-segment. So for multi-segment, what you can see here, okay, like for example, I'm using, this is my first line, this is my second line, this is my third line, this is my fourth line. For example, this is my fifth line. Have you seen what I have, whatever I have done with the segment? Means segment is going to be irregular shape. Are we okay?
Mister, can you repeat the last point?
Okay. So once again, just going to repeat it. الحين لو تلاحظوا whatever you can see, all of them are representing single elements, يعني either vertical or horizontal or curve. Eventually they are only one line, vertical, horizontal, or curve. Now some of the projects, they are having, like for example, untypical, especially I think for the resort. One of the resorts is having the juices and whatever, they are having irregular shape, like more of a rump shape or a circular type of a shape. Okay, so in that scenario, you'll go for grid, and then you'll go for multi-segment. Multi-segment means you are going to have one grid, but it's having more than 1 point. Okay, normally each grid is having 2 points, first and start. Multi-segment, you're having more than 2 points. I'm just going to go for multi-segment. I have drawn my line. I have drawn another one, third point, fourth or fifth, and then last point. You can draw whatever shape you want. Okay, and then you click on OK. So now this is my model. I mean, this is my grid. Okay, and you will see how the grid is going to help you. Okay, now after I have drawn my grid, you can see the grids are going to be available in your ground floor. They are available in your foundation. They are available everywhere. Okay, but normally it's better to be drawn in the ground floor. Okay, are we okay till now?
Yes.
Okay, now after doing that, we can go for, we normally start by columns. So once again, you should not use architecture. You should be using structure. So we're going to go for the column. Let us use concrete. Leave the section now. Okay, the section will be modified later. Now, can you see you have different types of modes of doing your columns? Okay, like for example, now I want to do my column here. Now, can you see? This is my column. Okay, so I have kept my column here. Now, the column here, for example, I want it to be rotated. So what I'm going to do, in your CAD, you need to go and do a lot of steps in order for you to rotate. Here, you can click on the space button in your keyboard. Okay, click on the space button in your keyboard. You will see that it will rotate with you. Are we okay? Are we fine?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to click here. And then, so some of the students, I mean, some of you will say, okay, I don't want this column to be outside. I want my column to be inside. Once again, I'm just trying to highlight whatever you require in your project. Everything you will be requiring, I'm trying to cover it up here. Okay. So for example, if the column is at the center, you will not have any issue. Because eventually your column is inside the building. But here, it appears that this column is acting outside. Okay, it depends on how you are doing your grid. Okay, so you need to see whether your column is getting outside or not. Like for example, if I want to shift this particular column to be inside, what I need to do, I need to go for move. Okay, I need to go for move. I'm going to highlight this point. Okay, I'm just going to highlight this point and I'm going to keep it here. Okay. Now, have you
Mr.
seen this?
Again, how to move it, please?
Okay. Once again, I'm just highlighting the column. I've highlighted my column. I'm going to click on move. I'm going to highlight the angle, which angle. So for example, this angle, I'm going to bring it here. Okay. And from here to, so this is now my column getting inside. And the same thing can be done here. I can go and do the move from this particular angle to here. Are we okay? Have you seen whatever I have done?
Yes, Mr. Thank you.
Okay. So for example, normally if the project is huge, it will take a lot of time to do this particular step. So normally what I recommend that you are going to put the columns at each grid and then delete whatever you don't want, rotate whatever you want, and then keep the rest. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete the columns. Now to delete the columns, either you can delete them manually using the keyboard button or the X here, or you can right click on them. If I don't want to delete one column only, if I want to delete everything, I mean, in terms of columns, I'll go for select all instances, an entire project. So it will highlight for me all the columns which are available. Once again, right click, select what I'm going to select. All instances means everything similar. So if I choose a column, it will choose every column which is similar for me. Is it only in this view or in the entire project? So in the entire project. Okay, and I'm going to delete it. Okay, now I'm going to highlight for you the easiest way for doing the columns. Okay, normally we are going to go for structure once again, column, and then we are going to go for at grids. Okay, at grids means it's going to keep the columns at each and every grid. Now later on, I know in certain position means intersection of grids, you might not require the columns, but it's going to be easier for you to delete a couple of columns rather than doing each and every column. Okay, so you need to choose which methodology is easier. But I'm assuming that your projects are huge, so it will take a lot of time from you. Okay, so I just highlighted. I just once again clicked, and then I'm pulling it. So I've highlighted here. So at each and every junction, I'm going to have a column. Okay, and then I just clicked on OK. Now, if you want to go and rotate, okay, for example, if I want to go and rotate or delete, so for example, I just highlight this column, highlight this column, for example, highlight this column, highlight this column, and then delete them. So deleting them is not going to be a hard task. Okay, if I want to rotate a column, for example, I'm going to this column. There is a rotate here. I'm just going to click on rotate. I want it to be rotated from this direction, from the vertical direction to the horizontal direction. So now it has been rotated. Once again, I want to rotate this particular column. I'm just going to click on rotate from the horizontal. I'm going to rotate it to the vertical or whatever angle you want. Are we okay? Are we fine?
Yes,
Yes,
it's clear.
Mr.
Okay. So we have done the columns. Okay, I have deleted some of the columns. Once again, doing in the grid is something which is easy, so you can delete whatever you don't want, because normally in real projects the number of columns are going to be huge. Doing one by one, it will take a lot of time from you. Okay. Now you have, for example, a problem here. I have a problem that these columns are actually not in the correct orientation. Okay, or let us go before that. Let us draw the beam so you'll understand what I mean. Okay, so once again, I can go for the beam and then concrete. Once again, you can go and draw line by line from one point to another point. So this beam will come to you. But once again, that will take some time. So Control Z. You can as well pick a line, but it will do the whole thing on the whole line. Normally, what I recommend, once again, I recommend going for on grids. Okay, I'm going to highlight here. So I'm going to draw. Okay, I'm going to draw a beam all over. Okay, now you can see that the beams have been drawn. You just click on finish. So now I have my beams. Okay, I have my beams with me. Are we fine? Are we okay?
No, Mr.
No, Mr. Okay. Tell me. I repeat once again.
Yes, beam, please, Mr.
Okay. Okay. So beam, click on beam. On grids. On grids مرة ثانية يعني يعمل لك, it's going to make the beams for you on the grid. Whatever grids you will highlight. So for example, if I highlighted this grid only, it will give me on this grid. Whatever grid you will highlight. Okay. So once again, I'm going to highlight these particular grids. And then the beams has been drawn for me automatically. Okay. Once again, you might not require some of the beams, but deleting them is going to be something which is easy. Okay, you can delete whatever beam you want. For example, I don't want this beam, so I'm deleting it. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one
Yes.
of the things which you will see here, that this is not a good, actually, this is not a good beam. This line should have been a curve rather than being inclined. You can see that these are inclined lines. These are not perfect curves. So what you can do for that, I'm going to highlight these, I'm going to delete them, and I'm going to show you how would you do a better option for curved elements. Okay, so I'm going to go once again to beam. Okay, you can save it. Okay, you can go and pick a line. There is something called the pick line. So you can pick this line, and then a beam will be drawn straight for you. Have you seen whatever I have done? Do you want me to repeat it?
Again, sir.
Okay, so control Z. Okay, once again, you have two types. I can go for the beam. I can go for the grid. Okay, and I'm going to highlight here. Okay, you will see now this particular beams, or these particular beams, are actually not purely curved. These are actually inclined elements connected together. Can you see? It's not a perfect curve. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Okay. Now what I want to draw a perfect curve. So I'm going to go for a beam once again. Now, rather than going for on grids, I'm going to go for pick a line. Okay, I'm going to pick a line, and that line will be transferred fully to be a beam. I'm picking a line. This is my line. Just click on it. You will see the beam will come.
Okay.
Are we fine?
Yes.
Okay. Now, whatever I was saying for you, that see now the columns. You're having a problem with the columns here, are not having proper orientation. Half of them are going outside.
Mm.
Can you see? Now, how would you do that? How would you control the column? Once again, I'm just going to highlight the column. Okay. I'm going to highlight the column. So I have highlighted it. I'm going to go for rotate. I'm going to take the, now you see, there is this line, which is actually not, this is the vertical axis of the beam, but it's not the vertical axis of the column. Can you see? This is the vertical axis of the beam. Okay. While this is actually the vertical axis of the column. Can you see?
Yes.
So this is the line of the beam. This is the line of the column. So I'm going to take the center line of the column, click on it, and then rotate my column on the other side, which is here. Are we okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now you can see that it is perfect inside. Once again, here I'm highlighting my column, going for rotate. Once again, you should not take the line of the beam. You should be taking the line of the column. So I'm going to rotate till seeing the center of the column. So this is my midpoint of the column. Okay, you can see a small line coming on the column. Okay, so I'm going to rotate it till making it with the same line of the beam, which is curved. Are we fine?
Yes.
Okay. The same thing can be here. Now, this is going to be something a little bit hard to be for a beam, or even for the positioning of the columns. Columns will not be that hard, but for a beam, once again, you can go for your structure, beam, once again, picking a line. So this is my line. Okay, so these are my beams. Are we okay? So once again,
Yes.
picking a line, it will change whatever, or it will draw your beam according to whatever line is available for you, whether it's curved, whether it's inclined, whatever is the shape of the of your line. Are we okay?
Mr.
Hmm.
In this shape, we have
Hmm.
to add column in the corner.
Yes.
I mean في كل زاوية لازم نحط column.
Yes. Or the other recommendation is to keep it as a wall rather than a column.
Okay.
Okay. Once again, if you have a lot of breaking points, it is not recommended not to keep a column. Like here, it's a breaking point between a beam. They are not straight and they are not perpendicular. Okay. They are inclined, so that they cause you a lot of issues in torsion. Okay. Are we okay till now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to delete this particular part. Okay, that was only for illustration. I'm going to click on the home button here. Okay, now you can see that we have our model. Can you see that we are having our model here? So I clicked on the home button, which will show me the 3D. Okay. Once again, the home button at the top, it will show me the 3D. Okay, so this is my model, and if I want to show the material colors and everything, I can go from here, and then I can go for realistic. So it will make a little bit the view a bit easier for me. Okay, so when you go for realistic, this is whatever you have done till now. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, so now if you see, you will see that these are my columns. These are my beams, which are at the ground floor. Okay, we don't normally put slabs at the ground floor. And normally I don't recommend you to do the slabs in Revit, especially if they are curved. Normally Revit will not draw them correctly. Okay, so it's better to draw them in Robot. Okay, now the other step which I want to do, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to highlight one of the sides. So for example, I'm going to go for the east here. Okay, so this is how it appears for me. Okay, this is how it appears for me. Now, of course, certain parts that you can see that are outside. What you can do, you can pull one of the lines, so everything will be pulled together, and you can keep pulling here as well. So now I have everything in a good position. Okay, once again, what I have done, now when you zoom in, you will see that there is a small node here. Okay, a small circle in which it will allow you to drag. Can you see now this circle? Okay. There is a circle where you can go and drag from one place to another place. Can you see? Can you see the circle?
Yes.
Okay, and it's not necessary in second floor. I can go and do it from first floor as well. As long as they are on the same line, you can see now SF, FF, GF, all of them are the same line. You can see a dotted line between them. It means they are in the same line. So if I pull any one of them, the others will be pulled. Are we okay? Are we fine?
Yes. Mr.
Yes.
Okay. الحين next step, I want to elevate the columns, or let us draw a wall as well, just in case you might be requiring to have a lift, for example. Okay. So let me just me choose a good position. Okay, all of them are huge for a lift actually. Okay, for example, I'm going to choose I just deleted it so I can draw my wall. So I can go for wall here, structural wall. The wall is going to be from this point to this point, and then from here, and then from here, you can keep it as a chain as well. Chain means continuous from here to here. Okay. So now I have my lift. Of course, you can keep, for example, another at the middle, so it will be a little bit more accurate since the area is huge. Have you seen whatever I have done? So the only thing, rather than doing a beam and a column, I have went directly to a structural wall. Now, if I go to my 3D, you will see that I have a wall here. Are we fine?
Mr. Repeat this point, please.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
when we draw the wall, we have to delete the beams?
Yeah. If not
Okay.
necessary. Okay. It depends. It depends on what you need to connect exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So once again, this area I have deleted. Okay. This area I have deleted. Now everything should be connected. Means there is a beam here, but there shouldn't be a beam and a wall in the same place. You cannot keep a beam and a wall at the same place, because when I say a wall, it is going to be a concrete wall. It's a full RCC wall, whatever we call as a core wall. Okay. So once again, wall structural. You can have it as a chain here. Okay. So here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here. Okay. So I have drawn my wall. Since the area is very huge, you can keep, just for the sake of illustration, we can keep here another wall. Are we okay? So فقط from the points from here to here, here to here, here to here, and goes. And if you want to be more accurate, then this can be deleted. This can be taken from here itself, and then another one can be taken from here if you want to be more accurate. Okay. Now, once again, if we want to see it in the ground floor, I mean in the 3D, you will see that the walls has been drawn. Beams are connected. Actually, beams are not going inside. Okay. Now, the problem which you are not seeing here from the 3D is going to appear whenever you are going to go to your elevation. Now, can you see what's happening here? Can you see what's happening? Can you see that your walls are going beyond your foundation level?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a problem you need to solve. Okay, this is a problem that you need to solve. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on it. Once again, select all instances. Select all instances means selecting all similar things in entire project. Now you will see they are starting from which level. Now you will see that they are, okay, they are going from where? What is the base? What is the bottom layer of the, what is the bottom level of the wall? What should be the bottom layer of the wall? Which
Ground
level?
floor.
Foundation.
The bottom layer should be foundation. The top layer should be the
Ground floor.
Ground
floor.
floor.
So you can see here, the top has been kept, the top constraint has been kept to be ground floor. So that's not a big issue. Now the problem is here. Okay, the first thing what you need to do is to shift this one to a foundation. Second thing, there is a base offset. Base offset means still below the base constraint, it will go further by 3 meters down. Okay, so if I go and apply, you will see that it goes 3 meters below the foundation level. Now, if I keep this to be 0, means there is no offset, it will touch only the foundation level. Offset means it's an extra length, which you don't require. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, so do not make any offsets. The bottom level is your foundation, the top level is your ground floor. Okay, now we have finished from the wall, we have finished from the columns for the ground. I need to do another layer at the top. Okay, I need to do another layer at the top. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to right click on all the walls. Once again, select all the instances, an entire project. So I'm highlighting all the walls now. Okay, there is a copy here. Okay, not this copy. Okay, not this copy. There is a copy here. This copy is normally used wherever you are going to copy from one level to another level. Sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to copy. There is a cut here. There is a copy here. So I'm going to copy whatever is available here, and I'm going to paste it to a selected level. Once again, I copied the walls which I have done. I'm going to raise them up to another level. So align to a selected level. Now, which level I need to push? It is already available at the ground. So the next one is going to be your
First
first
floor.
First.
Now the problem which has happened, it has been copied with the same height. Can you see it has been copied with the same height? Whatever is
Yes.
below is the same as the top. I don't want
Yes.
that. So what we need to do, what is the base level should be here? What is the base level? What is the base level?
Ground
wall?
floor.
So ground floor. The upper level is first floor. Do you need to have any offset?
No.
So offset is going to be 0, and then I'm going to apply. So now you will see that your wall came. If I go to the 3D, you will see that my wall came. Are we okay?
Yes, Mr.
Okay. The same thing we are going to go to do for the columns. So after, just click anywhere, go to the columns, select all instances, okay, an entire project. Even you can see them from here. These are the column which has been highlighted. I need to raise them up, so I can go to copy. Now they should be copied to which level? Paste, align to a selected level. Which level?
First floor.
First floor once again. So okay. So you can see that they came to the first floor, but the issue once again is happening, okay, that they are not touching. Okay, they are not touching the other level. So once again, you will see the bottom level is ground floor, the upper level is first floor, and then the base offset should be 0. So apply. Are we clear? Now, if I
Yes.
go to
Yes.
the 3D, if I go to the 3D, you will see that all of them have been elevated up. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay. The next step is to copy the beams. Now, beams are horizontal members, so they will not be affected by the offset. Do you agree? The offset is happening to the vertical element. Beams will be having offsets, they will not be having offsets. So I'm going to have right click. Once again, select all instances in entire project. So you'll see all the beams have been highlighted. Once again, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it to a selected level, which is first floor. And you will see that your beams came for you. Are we okay?
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay. Last thing, if you want to do, you can go for your foundation. Once again, slabs, I don't recommend you to go and do it here. I recommend you to go and do it in Robot, and I'll show you how to do it in Robot. Okay. So now we have done the framing. Remaining is the foundation. Now for me to draw the foundation, it should be in which level? Is it in the ground floor or SF or FF, or is it which level? It's going to be in the foundation level, right? If I want to draw my foundation.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm double clicking on the foundation. What are you seeing in the foundation? Do you see any beams?
No.
No beams are in the foundation level. Okay. So what we can do, we can have different types of foundation. Okay. For example, I can place an isolated foundation here. Now, of course, changing the cross section, if you were there in the first session, I told you, robot is going to do the geometry, so do not worry about it. If you want to change the orientation of the foundation, you can press the space button once again, where you can change your orientation of the foundation. You can go once again and use add grids or add columns. Okay. You can go and use add columns. So for example, these columns, these are going to be having isolated. You can press the space button, so they will shift from one direction to another direction. If, for example, I want to shift one of them only, okay, so once again, you can go for rotate. I want it from the horizontal to the vertical. So the same function applies to whatever element that you are dealing with. Are we okay? Am I fast, or is it okay with you?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
Okay. So now I have showed you isolated. I want to show you different things, because some of you are going to have raft as well. Some of you are going to have wall slab, which is a strip foundation. So for example, a strip here, 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 and then here. So this is a strip foundation. How to see it? You go to the ground level. Now you will see, if you rotate it, you will see that now under this wall, we are having a strip foundation. Can you see? And can you see that we are having different isolated foundations here? Can you see the foundation which is available below the wall?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the other type which I can play with is raft foundation. Okay, so for example, I want to do I'll go for structure once again. I'll go for slab, which is structural foundation slab. Okay, and I can keep, for example, all of this. I can draw here. So all of this area, for example, is going to be as a raft foundation, and then you need to click on yes. So this is my raft foundation. Now, of course, we can play with the area as well. You can remove this one if you want. Okay, let us see. Okay, so you can have multi points as well. Okay. Another thing that we can do is combine foundation, of course. Like for example, if you want to combine, it's a representation of a raft foundation. So this is another thing which is considered as a raft foundation. You can have, for example, here at columns, we can have two here, and then we can have another raft, for example. I don't think any of you is going to have biles. So for the meantime, it's not required. Not a wall. And the foundation you can do eventually, you can do in robot as well. Okay, this is only for illustration for you. Okay. Now what you can see, you will see that we had different types of elements. We have drawn our columns, we have drawn our uh, beams, we have drawn our walls, we have drawn our foundation. Of course, for example, you will see that you will say that the thickness is small, so that can be played with. Okay, you can click on it. So for example, I'm clicking on it here. You will see that it's only 150 mm. You can edit here, but once again, I wouldn't recommend changing things here. Okay, so for example, I want to keep it 600 mm depth. Okay, this can be edited to be 600. Okay, let's click on OK. So you can see that the depth is changing here. Are we okay? Are we fine?
Yes. Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now we have drawn most of the things in this particular model. Whenever I'm going to shift it to robot structural analysis, which is going to be our second session. Okay, your first session is going to be drawing your model in your Revit, and I'm going to show you how to play with the CAD as well. Okay, hopefully it will make your work a little bit easier. Okay, so for shifting this model to robot, since they are from the same company, there will be a direct integration. So I'm just going to click on analyze. There is automatically robot structural analysis for you. So robot structural analysis link, click on it. You have three options, either send model. Now, if you are whatever, I'm opening Revit now. So if I'm doing send, it will send from Revit to robot. If you are updating your model, okay, if you have done some changes in your Revit, you have already transferred it to robot, but you have done some modification in your Revit, then you can update the model. If you have done some analysis here, previously it was doing some analysis in Revit, you can update with the results as well. There are two types of integration, direct integration and intermediate file. Normally for other software, you need to have intermediate file, means you need to have a file and then open it in the other software like Tekla or like STAD or like ETABS or whatever. But since Revit and Robot are from the same company, there is a direct integration here. They can be opened directly. So I'm just going to click on OK. You will see that the robot which is here is going to be opened by itself. Okay, so the Revit has been starting to be exported. You can see that something has been opened here already. Okay, so it has been successfully transferred. I'm going to go for my robot. So this is my robot, and this is these are my elements which are here. Okay, so different elements came for me directly, and then later on I can go and draw my let's say slabs, which will come at the next step. Other things can be drawn. For example, you can draw a staircase, but a staircase would require just highlight for you. I'll teach you how to do a staircase and everything later. This is just to illustrate for you. Okay, this is a tool normally which is going to be given as 7 days, and then you need to purchase it. So either you do the stair or I'm going to do it for you. If you have finished this in 7 days, it does not require it. So here, so we have stairs. Okay. Now, first thing I'm going to draw a contour point. Okay, so a contour should have been not yet. Why it's not coming? Okay, so this is my contour. Contour is what you call a reference line. Contour is a reference line. Okay, so I'm just going to open this software, which is a supplementary software. So you will be getting a trial version for 7 days. And then later on, if you want it, you can purchase it for around 75 years. But anyhow, for you, I think in 7 days you can do it. If you didn't do it, then I'll do it for you. Now the story height, the height of one story. Okay, the height of one story. Okay, which you can get from here. The height from here to here is how much? We have 3.5 meters. The height of one story, if you remember, we had minus 1.8, 3.5. So I'm just going to keep the story height 3.5 here. Landing width, so for example, I'm just going to keep my landing to be 2 meters. Landing depth, half of the stair is going to be how much? So 3.5 is the full. Half of it is going to be 1.75. Do you want to have a gap between the first stair and the second? Means the one going up and the other going up, down, whatever we call it, stringer. Okay. We have upper stringer and bottom stringer. So let us keep them as 0.1, for example, and this is 0. And then eventually you can go and create your stairs, although that somehow it is going from one direction to another direction, but it can be fixed. Okay, you can keep it in the horizontal direction or the vertical direction. Now, of course, here you need to supply another beam because this slab has not been carried by anything. Okay, so leave the stair. We'll come to it later, but for the meantime, you need to know how to draw the basic things in your Revit. Okay. Now, first, any questions regarding whatever I have drawn in Revit other than stair? Leave the stair now. Any questions before telling you how to use, how would you use your CAD to make it a bit easier for you? Any questions?
No, no questions.
So repeat how to change to rope. Yeah, so analyze. Okay, analyze, like for example, let me just go to my first floor. Okay, I'm going to go for structure, and then I'm going to go for structural slab. This is how would you draw a slab in Revit. Okay, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to highlight the first point to the second point, and then I'm going to click OK. Okay, so this is my slab, which I have drawn only one slab, just to illustrate. So this is my slab, which is available here. Okay. Now, if you go to analyze, robot structural analysis. Okay. Once again, analyze, robot structural analysis link. Previously, we have sent the model. Okay. If you are transferring for the first time, then it's sent. If you have transferred already, but you have done a change, like now I have done the slab, then you go and update the model. So I'm going to update the model and then send. Okay. So now if you go and open robot, you should be able to see actually that there is a floor. Okay. So it didn't appear actually. Okay. Let me try to close it from the beginning. And let us send it once again. Now the transfer depends on your model, and it depends on how huge. You can see now the stair here. I think I have drawn the stair and then the slab at the same place. Okay, so you can see the slab is coming here. Okay. Now once again, why I said it's not recommended to be drawn, because especially in the curve, if you don't have curve, then you can draw your slabs in Revit. If you are having curved items or irregular shapes, then normally Revit is mixing the things up. Okay. Any other question that you have? Um, 2021 is normally stronger, faster a little bit, but it's heavier on the heavier on the laptop. And the other thing, you should be having the same versions. That's why I told you to download 2021, 2021 for both robot and Revit. If you don't have the same versions, it will not be transferred. Okay.
Mr. Could you repeat how to draw a slab for staircase, please?
Later we should say.
Okay.
So I'm just going to save it here. Okay. Any question other than the stair? Any question other than the stair? Now for the stair,
Sir?
when it comes to the stair position, just keep it empty. There shouldn't be any slab. Yes. Yes.
Sir, can we select all the grids to draw the slab?
It is not recommended.
We have to draw one by one, yeah?
Yeah, especially if you are having, for example, sunken slab and different loading. Because if you are transferring it to robot later on, it will be read as one slab.
Yes, okay.
If you have a uniform loading for everything, then you shouldn't have a problem.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, Mister, I remember in the beginning of the class, you told us we should design the slab in robot, not in Revit.
Yeah, to model it. If it's irregular.
Ah, okay, tomorrow. Like sunken slab or a weird shape.
No, sunken, it does actually, sunken slab does not matter. I mean, eventually you're going to draw it as a regular slab. The difference between a sunken slab and regular slab is the loading and how it's constructed in reality. But when it comes to designing it, when it comes to modeling it, both of them are the same. I mean, regular and sunken slab. But for example, the slabs which are here, as you can go and see in the first floor, here you are not having a regular slab. This is not a regular rectangular slab. Can you see?
Yes.
So normally the points will not be perfect from Revit. So it's better to do them in robot. If you are doing them in Revit, you will have to do them once again. Normally, this is what I have observed after using the software for a long time. Okay.
Okay, understand.
Okay. Now coming to the point where we're going to talk about how would you take your CAD if you want a CAD. Okay. Now different options are there. You can start from the scratch if you have your dimensions already between one wall to another wall. That can be done, or you can go and, for example, here I'm going to have a new one, metric structural template, and then clicking on OK. So just let me just erase whatever or close whatever we have done previously. Okay, so I opened the new plan. Okay, I opened the new plan. Now what you can do, you can go for insert, and then you can go for import CAD. Okay, I have kept one sample here. This was one of the projects in the in 2022, 2020, I think 2020. Okay. Now, can you see here that the drawing came? Okay, but it came as a reference line. It didn't come directly to you. Okay, so you need to draw it above whatever is available. Okay, so now you can see that we have the grid. The drawing is in front of me. It means that I don't need to go and what you call and calculate the dimensions and whatever. It's going to be easier somehow for you. So I'm going to go for grids, for example. Now you will see here, we said we are going to choose at the center of the wall, if you remember. Okay, so now if I click here, then the line will come here. Okay, now I don't want the line to be coming here. And I don't want to, for example, to draw another line at the center and then basically draw the grid according to the line. But you can, what you can do, for example, you can go and measure first the distance from this point, the distance from this point to this point. You can see that it's 400. Can you see that it's 400? Can you see that the wall they are using is 400?
Yes.
Yes.
So half of the wall, then it's going to be 200. I mean 200 for them. For you, unless you require, it should be 200. Like for example, if you are going for residential, we are using blocks which are 200. But for example, if you are going for cinema, for example, or a place which should have some kind of noise control, then 200 is not going to be sufficient. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the grid line at the center of the line. And I know now between this point, which is the start, to the center, there is 200 mm. Once again, I'm going to go grid. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the offset. Now you can see in Revit, it's little bit flipping the direction. So if I keep 200, okay, and I have drawn my line here, you can see that the 200, if it's positive, it will go left. Can you see? I have highlighted this point. Once again, it is 200 offset. I have chosen this point. Now can you see that it's going left? The line is going 200 millimeter left from the point I have specified. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, now if I keep it
Yes.
minus, if I keep it minus 200, it should go in the other side. So now, can you see that it's coming at the center?
Yes.
Yes.
Clear.
Okay, so now I have highlighted. I can go and extend my line. Okay, later on, you can bring your cameras as well. Okay, you can bring the cameras if you want. Okay, so I have drawn my line. Now, what I'm going to do, like for example, I'm going to copy now my grid lines. Okay, I'm going to copy my grid lines rather than making them one by one. So I'm going to once again highlight the grid line. I'm going to copy, but I'm not going to copy it according to the reference which is at the center. Why? Because I don't know the center. Where is it located at each and every point? Yeah, here it can be done, but maybe this column is not kept exactly at the center. So what you need to do, you need to keep the reference, for example, as, for example, here, I'm going to keep it at this point. Okay. So what will happen if I go and bring it here? If I go and bring it here, for example, you will see that this came at the center. Another one will come at the center. Another will come at the center. Another one at the center. You can extend later. Now, of course, you should not forget whatever is available in between. Like here, I have not done it. So this can be, for example, deleted. You have a line here. Once again, you can copy. Let's take this one. You see what is easier for you for drawing that particular line. Okay. So once again, what I have done, this is my line. I can take either the center point, or I can take the left point, which is minus 200, or I can take the other point, which is here. There are three references for me: the beginning of the wall, center of the wall, the end of the wall. Okay, now you can see here, for example, if I choose this one, so let me delete them. If I choose this one, this is now my second wall. Okay, my second wall is appearing here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight this one. Now you can see the easiest point for me either to take this point, the left with the left, or I'm going to take the right with the right. Both options are there. So I'm going to copy. For example, I'm going to choose this point, which is the left point, and I'm going to place it here with the left point here. Okay, so you can see that this came at the center. You can go and change the number according to whatever you want. Are we fine? Are we okay?
Yes.
Once again, copy. Okay, I'm copying it from here to here, for example, to this point. Sometimes it will not be red, but you can take it at the center here, and it goes on. Okay. Now, of course, whatever extra, you can delete them. Okay, and you can continue with whatever you want. Okay, that's somehow a little bit easier than finding the finding the dimensions between each and every line. Are we okay? Are we fine? So now these are the vertical lines. The same thing can be done for the horizontal line. So grid. Okay, I'm going to have the opposite. So it's going to go, if I go 200 from this point, it goes up. I don't want it up. I want it to be down. So minus, it goes opposite direction. Whatever you have learned, it goes opposite. Normally we have up to be positive. Now up is going to go, yeah, it should be up. Let us see here. If it's positive, it's going up. If it's negative, then it's going down. So this is regular in terms of horizontal. So now you can see the point is coming at the center. Okay. So I'm just going to pull it. Okay. Have you seen what I have done? Okay. So I have drawn. You need to continue your vertical lines and your horizontal lines according to whatever walls are there. And then later on, you can go and draw your beams and columns according to whatever grids are there, like whatever we had. So for example, we can go at even at grids from here. Okay. Okay. Yes, you can have it from here to here. And if you want to visualize it realistic, so you will see that your beam came here. Okay. You can put a column as well. Column, foundation, whatever you want to put, you can put it at whatever position you want. Okay, but this is going to help you in terms of minimizing the time. Now, of course, because they are having different dimensions, 400, and then even their columns are having weird dimensions. Anyhow, just to highlight, you can see if you go to your 3D, you are having one column and one beam which have been drawn here. Have you got whatever I have done?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, so once again, you can use whatever I have showed you in the first method, which is finding the dimension yourself and entering each and every line, or you can have the AutoCAD in front of you and then just drawing above it. Are we okay? Now later on, you will see that later on this will disturb you a lot. Okay, you need to take it off because actually there is nothing. Now, if I go and send it for robots, for example, if I go and send it for robots, okay, just 1 second, 1 second, because we didn't close this model. No? Okay, so you can see that these are the model which has been brought from Revit, which is 1 column and 1 beam. Are we okay? Now to remove this one, to remove after you finish your beam, try to make they realistic, so at least you will see the color of your beam, that you have drawn a beam, that you have drawn a column. Okay, after you finish and you have finished all the drawings here, you can click here on this CAD drawing, and then you need to go for view, not view, we need to go for modify, and then from modify, can you see npin? Can you see npin? Npin means it's not fixed, and then it can be removed now. So now you can see my grids only. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, so once again, the software is not complicated. Software is easy, but you need to practice it. Okay, it shouldn't take with you more than 3 days, I think, to draw, especially if you are using the AutoCAD drawing. If your CAD is ready, then you shouldn't be having any problem. Okay, now the next session, I don't want to push a lot of things. And next session is going to be dealing with robots. We are going to do the initial setting in robots, and we are going to change the cross sections of the beams and the slabs. I'll teach you how to do that according to the dimension. Now for the beam, you can get the dimensions easily, and then you can change them. For the slab, you need to know each slab is having how much minimum or how much is the shorter direction, and accordingly you will give the depth as whatever I have given you in the first session. Okay, now doing that, we have finished our session. Do you have any question on drawing and modeling in Revit? So you will be
Sir?
drawing you will be drawing your beams, your columns, and your walls mainly. Foundation is not required. Stairs will be drawn later, and slabs will be drawn later.
Sir,
Yes.
I want to ask you. In our project, we have the column in the ground floor. It's more than the first floor.
What you mean? You have what we call it? Floated column.
Yes.
Okay. Floated columns are columns which are available in a level, but they don't connect to the foundation. They don't have a foundation. They act on a beam only, and they will stop. Okay, that's fine. You just specify your column is available. For example, when I'm going to highlight it later, like for example, I have this column. This column can be going according to whatever I have. Like for example, if I go here in the east, this one, okay. So you can what you call, you can copy the level. So for example, I have another level here, 1,800. Okay, and I have another level here. Of course, you don't need to go for the copy. You can enter once again, so it will give you the previous function. Okay, highlighted. For example, going 3,500. Okay. Now you can copy according to whatever levels are there. Like for example, this column is available only here, so it stops here. It does not go to the foundation level. If it's going up, then you need to copy it and then going up. So it's going to go for level number 4. Okay, and you need to change. This is 0. Now you will see that your column here is not touching the foundation. And even if it's available here, now your column is only available at a certain location. It is available only on one floor. It's not available in the other floor. Keep your columns according to whatever you require. Got it?
Yes, thanks, sir.
Any other questions from the remaining?
Mr.
No,
Yes.
Mr.
Mr. What is the minimum elevation for the mall? Can we do it 5 meters?
It depends. Not all the mall is going to be the same thing. Mall, you mean the what you call the commercial area? Like for
Yes.
example, the market, supermarket area like Lulu and whatever. As you see in Lulu, Carrefour area and whatever, you need to have double volume. And then normally it goes for a steel structure in that location. For the other areas, you can have regular floor. Yeah. It depends what is the function of that particular area. And you can decide whether you will go for a single volume, means one floor, or a double volume that are 2 floors open together. So 5 meter you can go, but if it's a huge space, then you might be required to have steel as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir, all clear. Thank you.
Okay. Okay then. All the best. So start working on your model. I'll spare tomorrow, after tomorrow, and then the day after for 3 days, waiting for you if you have any question regarding your modeling or whatever. And then day number 4, we are going to start with the robot. Okay. So 3 days, and then once again we'll start robot 1 or 2 days, and then 3 days, and then maybe the last session where you will be finishing it off. It depends. Everything now depends on your modeling. If you're doing your modeling in a very good manner, in a very good process, then everything else is going to be easy for you. Okay.
Mr. Please, how about the record? Where we can't find it?
I'll send
Please.
I'll send them for you, but I'm just trying to find a way on how to send them without going outside, so that your rights will be preserved. For me, it's fine, but it's unfair for those who came, who had a commitment, who paid to receive, and for the others who didn't to receive it as well.
Sir, you can do a YouTube channel, private YouTube channel, and only allow those who are in the course.
Even though a person, even if you're having your YouTube, it is very easy now to download from YouTube.
Okay.
We will see. We will see, inshallah. Okay. Any other question?
No, Mr. Thank you.
Okay. All the best.
No, Mr.
All the best.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Okay.